Hey, how's it going, dog owners out there in dog owner land? Welcome to this video today. This is part of a 10-part video training course on how to get your dog trained quickly, effectively. We're dealing with everything. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this video on YouTube and you don't have the full course yet, make sure you go down in the description of this video. There's gonna be a link where you can sign up for free for this course. So, and it'll show you how to deal with some of the bigger stuff, the barking, the chewing, the jumping, the digging, the leash pulling. And in fact, today we're talking about leash pulling. I'm gonna share with you a method that we call the crazy man method. This is a really cool method that if you do it right, most people can get their dogs to stop pulling fast, like within minutes. It's very common. So if you've got an issue with a dog pulling on the leash, maybe just pulling because he pulls, or maybe pulling and barking and lunging because there's some aggression, this is a must watch for you. Make sure to watch to the end because I'm giving you a lot of great tips and a lot of great training on exactly how to do this. Keep watching. Work on what we call the crazy man method. Let me explain it and then I'll show it to you, but it's a way that we can get the dog to stop pulling pretty darn quick. And you know, we've seen lots of dogs that in 5-10 minutes they're not pulling anymore. And in a second, I'm going to explain how you can use that to work on things like aggression, to work on actually destruction, like destroying your home. This is going to help with that. Things like reactivity with other dogs, barking and lunging and stuff like that. So it's not just to get your dog to walk well on a leash, which is super important, but it's going to have other benefits too. So the method we use is we call it the crazy man method. Now what the crazy man method is we're going to tell this guy, come on. You can tell your dog, heel, come on, let's go. It doesn't matter. The word doesn't matter. It's what we do with the word. I'm going to start walking, and if he's with me, great. I'm just going to keep walking. Now where I want him is right next to my side. I want his shoulder, you know, at about my leg. He's got a little bit of a food allergy. Give him a break. That's why he's itching. So I want his shoulder at my leg. Now what's going to happen is if he goes ahead of me, instead of me pulling back, most people do that, right? They pull back on the leash, but dogs have what's called opposition reflex. So if you pull back on a leash, it almost pushes the dog forward. And you can see a lot of people in your neighborhood walking and they're pulling, and the dog's just pulling as hard as he can. And so we don't want to pull back. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like an about face, go 180. If I'm going this way and he goes ahead, I'm going to go that way. If I'm going that way and he goes ahead, I'm going to go that way. If he goes left, I'm going to go right. If he goes right, I'm going to go left. And so what he's going to experience from this is, man, I go this way, he goes that way, I go left. This guy's crazy. I got to watch out for him. And soon he realizes that the only place he can watch out for me is just right by my side. And so that's how we can quickly get a dog to walk well, you know, on a leash. This guy isn't the biggest puller in the world, but it's really the concept that I want to get across to you guys. So I'm going to tell him, come on, good boy. He goes too far, come on, good boy. What a good boy. It's too far, come on, good boy, come on. That's a good boy, yeah, good boy. Lots of praise when he's doing it well. Good boy. Oh, there we go. Good boy. Come on. Oh, good boy. Yeah, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. You see, that time I turned. Oops. The previous time I turned, and he just turned with me because he was actually paying attention. That's too far. Come on. Oh, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. So, you see, he loses focus. He goes ahead. I'm going to just make an about face, a little tug, go my new direction. Now this is one reason I like the training collar. Now in an entirely different video in this training series, I get into, you know, which training collars to use. But this is why I like this training collar, whether it's a small dog, big dog, middle dog, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't have to use a lot of, you know, correction. I can just use tiny little taps and it's enough to grab the dog's attention. We can go the new direction. Let me just do another quick second. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. He loses focus, I just change direction. Good boy. Come on. Yeah, buddy, good boy. Good boy, yes, good boy. Good boy. That's good focus. And so, this is a dog that's new to training. Like I say, he wasn't the biggest puller in the world, but he's new to training, and you can tell he didn't have any focus. 2-3 minutes of this, he's already got some focus. So I want to explain to you here in a second how you can use this to fix some of the other stuff. So stick with it. All right, folks, just wanted to cut away really quick because I know how oftentimes we have clients all over the world that they want to skip steps. And what I mean by skip steps is they want to, this on-leash stuff, I mean, some people their dogs pull like a maniac, so they've got to work on it. But some people are like, oh, my dog's okay, and they're trying to skip to having their dog off leash, whether it's off leash at the park or the beach or up in the hills or whatever. They want their dog to be off leash. Now, there's an order to this on purpose. You can't really have great off leash control until you have great on leash control. And I mean great on leash control. I'm not talking like, oh, my dog's pretty okay on the leash. Maybe your dog's not okay on the leash and you really need this training. But even if your dog is okay on the leash, but he walks up ahead of you, and like, well, he doesn't pull, he just walks up ahead, you need this training. Or maybe he kind of walks by your side, but any distraction and he's pulling, you need this training. So yeah, it's super important that before you go to any sort of off-leash stuff, that you're getting all of this on-leash work down. Crazy Man method, as you do it, you're gonna start getting your dog to walk better and better and better each day. Now, this has one of the biggest, what I call collateral effects of any dog training command that you can do. What I mean by a collateral effect is you do it right now and it helps something entirely unrelated. So I've had dogs that, we start teaching them how to just walk properly and the destruction goes away. They stop chewing, they stop digging. And now, I can't promise that with every dog, but lots of dogs, this is a big piece. If they're getting walked like this every day, they actually have to focus, they have to pay attention. And so the act of focusing and paying attention, their mind gets a workout, their body gets a workout, and their desire to chew and dig becomes much, much less. So this can help or even sometimes fix destructive behavior. For dogs that just aren't super respectful of their owners, this is a very good way of getting, good leadership. The dog becomes a literal follower as he's walking along with you. For dogs that have aggression issues, like if your dog is walking perfectly, he can't be lunging at other dogs over here. He just can't. He can't be lunging at kids or bikes or whatever. And so teaching this thing has tons of different collateral effects. So no matter what you're dealing with, now if you're in this series so that you can learn about aggression or hyperactivity, this is one of the absolute best things that you can do in order to help build this foundation on which we can get rid of almost all bad behaviors. Like I say, whether it's aggression, reactivity, destruction, anxiety gets better through this, leadership gets better, all that stuff gets better. So make sure that you're working on this every day, because it's going to be something that helps you with everything. Even if you think your dog is like, well, my dog doesn't pull, but he just walks up a little bit ahead, even that dog, do that, because this fixes so many other things. Even if it's a little guy and you're not worried about a little bit of pulling, this is something that's super valuable. So work on this. All right, dog owners, time to get to work on getting your dog to stop pulling on the leash. It's so much more enjoyable to have a great walk, to enjoy yourself if you're not worrying about your dog pulling you down the street or aggressive behavior, things like that. So if you haven't already, go down to the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link. It will give you you'll get complete access to the entire 10-day training course, our free training course. So go click that link and we'll see you on the rest of these videos.